What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, Andy Talks Stocks. I'm Andy and I have some pretty big news today as far as my position with Hyliion and where I'm going with that position. So in my previous video, I had stated that I want to sell off about 75% of the position, considering that it moved up substantially after the merger. Now after looking at the stock carefully and in depth, I've considered various possibilities what could happen with this stock. And this stock could definitely see over $100 or at least see the $100 after the merger. Now some of you might think like we haven't seen such movement over the past couple weeks, especially entering September and the merger happening sometime in September, between September 14th and September 30th, according to the SEC filing. Now after the merger happens, what are the chances that I could see 100? This stock is a SPAC play. The merger still hasn't happened. A lot of people are still, on the fence about it, whether it will happen. So a lot of people are held off as to buying into it. Now, if you look at it in the past, the stock started opening at $10 per share, and looking at it now where it's at $50. Yeah, that's a deal getting it at $10. The same could be said for Tesla. Tesla in the March lows was around $300, and right now sitting at $393. Which is pretty low considering after the split they had reached a 501 valuation per share. Now, 393 times 5, because the stock did split 5, it's still around $1,600 per share. From the original 300 that it was in the March lows, that would have been a crazy deal, at 300. Not to say that this Hyliion stock will reach the $1,600. I mean, it would be amazing if it did, but that would be years to come into the future. Now, the reason I believe it will reach the $100 range is because a lot of ETFs are hesitant about investing into SPAC plays, because ETFs are basically dealing with other people's money and they're not in the business of losing money, they're in the business of making money. The one ETF that I would like to see invest into this stock for me to hold really long term would be ARK Investments. ARK Investments has invested into various stocks that see great potential, and Hyliion, I believe, can be one of these stocks. ARK Investment is really heavy into Tesla. It's one of their biggest positions. They've also invested into a company called Workhorse. Now Workhorse, I do own a small position in my private account. I do expect to have them in my public account very soon, but I'm just really bullish on Hyliion right now, and my main focus is stocking up on that stock before I get into Workhorse, which is still relatively on the lower end as far as price, which is fine right now. I do really want to get into Hyliion before it just takes off before the merger. And for those of you guys wondering why I mention ARK Investments over any other ETF, let's be honest. Everyone's watching ARK Investments like hawk. We're in a real volatile market, and we're a news-based market right now, really hyped up market. So because everyone's watching ARK Investments, as soon as they invest into this stock is going through the roof. And that's my personal belief. It's what I've seen in the market. Now, the reason I'm so bullish as to why I think ARK Investments would invest into this Hyliion stock is because I saw the interview with Cathie Woods as she went in depth as to why she wasn't investing into Nikola. Now, Nikola in the beginning did seem really promising. I myself invested a small position into them and I sold it for a very large amount, and I'm very happy about that. But I did sell out because of the 7-year cost of ownership as far as the price to own and operate a hydrogen vehicle. The numbers just weren't there for me. Now, she compared Nikola to Tesla and the cost of ownership and how much it would cost to operate such business, and she just didn't see the numbers were there. Now, if you compare it to Hyliion, I think it's very competitive. I think there's a lot of money to be made. As soon as the merger happens, I can definitely see some interviews with Cathie Woods going on and see her take on this stock. Now, I know we saw some dips in the market as far as Hyliion stock. There was a bit of pullback as soon as it reached a very high of 58. Now, that large pullback we saw was mainly due to some large investors pulling out, some institutions pulling out money, selling off at a profit. We knew this would happen. There's definitely going to be short sellers. There always will be short sellers in the market trying to short the stock, trying to make a quick profit. But for me, this stock is a long-term hold, and I'm going to be holding it long-term. The reason you can see that it's large investors pulling out money in institutions, if you go to the NASDAQ website and you go in and type in your stock you're looking for, you see here Shell Tortoise Acquisition, Class A common stock. Tracks the stock right here. So that big dip right here. but you're going to go over to institutional holdings. Right here is where you see the institutions, shares held, changes in shares, total value in thousands. Here you can see increased, decreased, any activity, and sell-offs. Now this is where we see the big sell-offs. It's the reason for all the dips is these institutions hold some of the highest positions. They're all selling off at once. We're gonna see those big dips. Now, as I said earlier in the video, the way I want to go about the stock has changed. Previously, I had said I want to sell off about 75% of the position and keep about 25% long term. Now, just really looking at the stock, I want to flip that. Keep 75% of the position, sell off 25%, just so that I can invest that in other stocks and see more growth there. But being very bullish on the stock, 75% of my position in the stock is a rather large position. This, I believe to be my big whale stock. Everyone has that one stock that they really made it from, and I think this could be mine. Everyone has their big star. Everyone's preaching about this one stock in the early beginning stages of their investing. You got financial education, Jeremy. He early on in his videos, he had talked about Tesla this, Tesla that, always into Tesla, and that stock has made it big for him. Now this is my Tesla, Hyliion. I do think they can see big things. I've done my extensive research on the stock. I really like it. Of course, the stock is overvalued at the moment. In this market, we are pricing in future valuations for each stock. And I think that's true to come every year. So say this stock could be priced in for a couple years. Next year it'll go up and be priced in for a couple more years. But we could see some very big things with the stock. Like we saw before with that deal with Dana and Idealease, and 1,000 pre-orders with Agility. Now, the biggest opportunity with this company that I see in the future isn't so much as going to these various companies like UPS and can't even think off the top of my head, but you get it. Changing out their powertrain for these vehicles, for these companies, that's small fish to me. Where I see their biggest opportunity is with the makers of the vehicles themselves, such as Freightliner, Peterbilt, Kenworth, International, Volvo, Mack, Western Star. If these companies aren't moving towards EV, they could secure a deal to where they could produce the powertrains for the vehicles and have the powertrain already in the vehicle prior to being sold off to some company. I think that's where they can see their biggest gains. So that these companies, when the trucks arrive, they arrive with the powertrain already, then having to transition these companies into the new powertrain and sell them the powertrain directly. They go directly to the manufacturer of the vehicle themselves. If they can secure some sort of partnership or deal with these companies, that's where the opportunity becomes vastly exponential. Now, that is my hope for the stock. Not to say that it is going to happen, but seeing that happen would definitely increase the stock substantially. So you've seen it here, guys. I'm claiming my stake in the stock now. I'm going to be holding the stock for years to come. This could either be my Tesla, my financial education Tesla, or my financial education GoPro. We're going to either make it or break it, but I'm keeping the stock long term. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, financial education Jeremy, he does stock videos and stuff like that, and Tesla was the biggest gainer and GoPro was his biggest loser. This could either go both ways, but for me, I'm keeping this stock long term. I see high growth with this stock. For anyone looking at this stock, do your research. I've done mine. I'm holding it. This is going to be very big in the coming years. For me personally, I have a high position, very large position. Let's see what happens. With that being said, guys, be sure to like the video. This did take me a little longer to make, just because I'm super bullish on this stock, very excited about it. I talk about it all the time for anyone that knows me. If you guys have any comments or would like to know anything more about this stock, you can send me a DM on my Instagram, where I post pretty much as I can. Not always, but I try and do what I can. Also, you can leave them down below in the comments. Comments help out the channel, really helps out with the algorithm. Also, hitting that like button helps with the algorithm. Be sure to make your contribution to the channel and hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so now. Subscribe down below, hit that notification bell so YouTube notifies you every time I post a video. And also, gonna be doing that 100 subscriber giveaway as soon as I reach 100 subscribers. Thinking about giving away some stocks or, who knows what. Any suggestions as to what I should give away, leave them down below in the comments. I was thinking originally as a case of energy drinks because I love my energy drinks, but not everyone drinks them. So maybe I'll give away a couple stocks. Who knows? Hyliion stock, possibility. We'll see. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.